Hey, Mike here, ProCycle. We're going to do our installation on our fork solution kit with the DDCs for the TW200. It's a pretty simple installation. We're going to give you a few tips and tricks to get it all snugged up and get you back on the road.
Let's begin by removing two 5mm hex bolts holding the speedo cable and your front brake line in place. Then you have one more clamp a little bit lower that's held in place with one Phillips screw. Next, remove the two 12mm bolts holding the brake caliper in place. This step here you don't have to do, but it's just a good practice anyways. Use a little bit of safety wire or something to hold up your brake caliper out of the way so it's not pulling on the brake line itself. Remove 4 of the 10mm bolts holding the fender bracket to the fork tubes. Now loosen the 4 lower triple clamp bolts using a 10mm socket or wrench. Now loosen the upper triple clamp bolt with that same 10mm wrench or socket, being mindful that that fork tube might slip out. Go ahead and remove both sides and set them on your workbench.
Alright, so we got the forks off the bike. Pretty simple, just got to take the wheel off, pull the forks out. Key tip, loosen this nut before you take it off of the triple clamps. You're not going to do it if you don't. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to finish taking the fork cap off. We got it already loosened up, 19mm. What you get her, it's not going to be like a bottle of champagne, so don't worry about it blowing all over it. But there will be tension here. So be careful as you're unscrewing it the last little bit. Cap comes off. Then we've got the stock spacer. And then we're just going to dump her out. Let this drain for about 10-15 minutes, get all the old stuff out. You can cycle the fork a couple times if you want. Make sure to get all that nasty old fluid out. Alright, we got them all drained out, we've got them all cleaned out as much as it would drain out. You're more than welcome to throw a little bit more fork oil in there, kind of wash it out, let it drain out. If your fork oil is really nasty, you might want to go ahead and do that. So we're going to go ahead and set our fork oil down, level. You want to do it with the fork collapsed, and then we're going to go 8 ounces about per tube. You want about 130 millimeters from the top of the fork tube to your oil level. So I always use a caliper. You can kind of use it as a dipstick and fill it up until it hits the bottom of your little feeler part of your caliper here. That works really good. Good. We got a little bit just on the bottom of the caliper there, so we're going to call it good. Next part, our DDCs. These are the magic that makes the magic happen. Nice thing about the TWs is you can drop them in. DRs and other bikes with bigger fork tubes, you do need the magnet to drop them in with the spring. Nice thing about the TWs is they won't be able to rotate when you drop it down the tube. So we're going to go ahead and put it in. You want nut side down. So you want threads out, nut side down. And we got our Cogent springs. I'm going to slide those in next. And just let her down. Since we got the fork oil left, level set, we can go ahead and raise it up. I'm going to go ahead and put our included spacer in, drop that down, and then you are going to have a little bit of preload here. So this is where an extra set of hands or a vise or a clamp or something comes in handy, because you really got to clamp her down. Now let's trim it.
Whoopa!
Yep. Got our space material. And then since we're using the DDCs, that takes up some of the material that you used here. Basically what you want to do is measure from the inside of the threads on the fork tube to the top of this spring and add about 3 millimeters, 1/8 an inch. And that's how long you need your spacer material to be. And then you're going to cut off the rest. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do now. I got it all measured out. Make our mark. Start hacking. And it doesn't have to be spot on perfect. I'm not sending people to the moon. But if you want to think about it, you can. Now we're ready to put everything together. Already got our spring in here. I'm gonna go ahead and put our spacer in. Port cap will go on nice and easy now. There should be a little resistance at the end because of the preload. It'll be set. Now once you get it back on the bike, you're gonna want to torque this cap down. Make sure it's nice and stuffed, but one's done, on to the next. All right, Mike here. We're all buttoned up here, finished, ready to go take her for a rip. As always, thank you for watching. If you like the video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and don't forget, adventure begins here. We'll see you next time.